Life Church. It's Trevor Williams. I'm the South Oklahoma City campus pastor. And if you're getting this email today with this video on it, it means that you've decided to sign up and come to the block party, which is happening this Saturday. And before you came down, we wanted to run through a few things with you, kind of talk about what the day was going to look like, and talk about some of the ins and outs of working and being a part of the mission downtown. I've got with me Tim Ulrich. He is the he leads a thing called the Refuge here in downtown Oklahoma City. I met Tim 3 years ago. This guy is a fantastic man of God and has done some incredible work here at the Refuge and continues to, make a real transformation in our city. He's part of just a growing movement that seems to be changing what's happening in Oklahoma City. And so today, man, we're going to talk about it a little bit, and I appreciate you sitting down with me so that we can kind of hook everybody up and into being successful, the day that we come down here. So what I want to talk about first is we're going to kind of break today's talk up into two parts. The first part is kind of operationally, kind of what your morning is going to look like, what your day is going to look like with us, so that you can kind of have that in your mind. And then we're going to talk about really what your experience is going to be like when you're down here. So the first part of the day, you're going to go to your campus that morning. We're going to have what we call a campus launch, where we all get together and celebrate that we're working together that day and what God's going to do, and pray. And your campus pastors or your life groups and missions pastors that day, they'll have some instructions for you and kind of lead you through a few things that morning. And then they're going to send everybody off, and we're going to meet downtown. You're going to get a parking voucher to park in a garage that is not too far from the Refuge, and directly across from that parking garage is a really big grass field. We're all going to meet there, kind of rally together and wait on everybody to get pulled in, and then we're going to walk together as a group here to the Refuge and kick off our day. First thing we're going to do when we get here is we're going to go inside the grounds of the Refuge. You'll be able to see it's a nice little perimeter, cool looking area where there's some gravel. It's all set up. We're going to come inside, and we're going to pray together as a group, pray over the ground that the block party is going to happen at. And then we're going to send you guys out. You're going to be getting various assignments for the different areas that you're going to be working. Some of you are going to be leading in specific areas. Others of you are going to be working as what we call partners. Partners are going to be people that spend the majority of the day with what we're going to call an urbanite, someone that lives downtown that you're going to spend the day with as they go through the various stations and the different things that we've got going on here at the block party. And you'll get some more information about that as well. And we got all sorts of stuff that day, from haircuts and family portraits, pictures that they're going to get to have if they want. Just a great day to experience with them and walk them through and get to know them. So as a partner, that's going to be a big part of your day. And then there's others of you that are going to be actually going out in different parts of the city doing some cleanup work and also inviting people to come and be part of the block party. So that'll be kind of the first part of the day. We call that the first half. We're going to have halftime. Halftime, we're going to all get together and we're going to spend some time just really spending time together. We're going to hear a little bit of God's word that day. There's going to be some worship music. We're going to get to break bread together. And our hope is during that time, as you're having lunch with your urbanite, that you're going to be connecting with them really in three different ways. First, just a personal connection, kind of get another story. Tim, I know that's an important part of it, but then also kind of an emotional connection, know what's going on in their life and what they're dealing with, and then really in a spiritual way. And we're going to be praying for each other that day. We're going to be asking you to pray for them and them to pray for you. So it should be a great moment, and that's kind of the halftime event. And then we go to second half, and the second half is hopefully by then you guys have really forged some bonds with each other, kind of understanding each other, getting to know each other. And then we're going to spend the second half of the day going through the rest of the activities and different things that we've got for the homeless or the urbanites that day as we're downtown. So that's kind of what your day will look like. There'll be some cleanup afterwards. I ask you guys to hang around and be part of that. About 2 o'clock we'll begin to clean up our mess that we've made down here so that Tim and his crew doesn't have to clean it up. But we want to talk about now, that kind of gives you a quick flyover of what things are going to be like. We want to talk about your experience that day, because something I think it's very important. And when we first came down here, this is our third year to do the block party. Something I didn't understand, Tim. In any kind of missionary work, when you go to another country, it's pretty good to understand the customs and to understand the culture that you're stepping into, because it's going to impact really your experience and how and really the way that you're going to engage with the people that are there. And when we first came here, I did not understand the culture here. I didn't understand it, and I engaged with it in ways that really were harmful. Our first couple block parties and first experiences down here in the first year, the first time we came down, we brought a bunch of clothing, and I think we brought the gift cards that year too, didn't we? Where we handed out gift cards like Sonic and McDonald's, different places like that. And what we ended up doing was creating a currency for trade down here that was really, they were trading for bad things. We were adding to addictions and issues that other people had that were here. We actually made the situation worse. And so what we're hoping to do, and as we progress in the last couple of years, is to make a really a difference in the way that we approach the culture of this community. So Tim, let's talk about, the first thing that I wanted to hit on was hunger, because I have a lot of people that, man, they see coming downtown as, I'm going to go feed the homeless, because the homeless are hungry. They don't have homes to go to. They're not like me, and they're hungry. Now, what I have found out in talking with you is there's like 16 different places to eat down here, and there's not a lot of them that are hungry. But what have you seen it that, if it's not food, Tim, what are they hungry for?
It's an interesting deal, because being down here, I've just seen an amazing amount of people from the suburbanites, the suburbia. They just come down here and they do just continue to give, and it's awesome. I mean, lots of good people with great intentions, and I think that there is an element of some sort of need, but I think the smidge maybe of what we're doing could be hurting. But what I believe God is wanting to do in the urban world of this city is really call people to a hunger and thirst for righteousness. I think it has a lot to do with what does it look like to be the church. And I know the church is called to feed the hungry, but as I've been down here and seen, just even on a Saturday, like this Saturday, we might even see other people coming down here and dropping off food. And it's almost like it used to be about 15 times a day just on the outside, and there's services throughout the urban area that were really good at meeting the needs. And actually, as I was down here for the last 3 years, I think I've picked up more food than I've actually thrown away. I mean, I've thrown away more food than I've actually ever given away. Yeah. Because there's really not this hunger. They'll take it just to kind of give the impression that thank you, but it's more of like a I don't know. I think I look at Acts 3 a lot when Peter and John are on their way to the temple, and there's that lame guy's asking for alms. He's like, alms, give me, and like Peter just says, look at me, silver and gold I don't have, I have Jesus. Yeah. And really, what I would ask as you guys are coming into our neighborhood is that as we're breaking bread, or as you're hanging out, developing relationships, as you're just ministering as the church, that you are that there's like a display of a hunger and thirst for righteousness. Like I'm always loving how the word says that to seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. And like if there was an element that we on Saturday could just bring to this part of the city, is just that it isn't about just the food, but that it's about Christ. Yeah, and the food is a vehicle for that. I mean, and that's what a lot of churches come down and they feed here, and I think that's great. What I think is bad is when someone comes down and feeds, and within 15 minutes they're gone, because the people here are thirsting for truth, for righteousness. They're thirsting for relationship. Absolutely. With other people. A big part of the reason that we began to do the block party is that there was a government study that was done. In that government study, there were two things that the government said that you could do to impact a homeless population, the two most effective things. First was to consolidate services so that they could not have to drive all over town to find the services they might need to step out of the situation that they were in. But then the second thing that you could do was to, in some way, connect and invite them back into community. And far too often, what we want to do is write a check, stop by, drop off a hamburger, and we want to head on down the road